I'm going to introduce Manda Scott, whose book Any Human Power is a great example of a Thrutopian adventure novel. So Manda set up a master class for writers, really looking at Thrutopian writing as a kind of novel genre, fiction genre. And I asked her to talk about what she means by Thrutopian story patterns. Let's just bring in Manda Scott here. Manda, over to you.
If any story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they don't all, but let's assume that most stories do have that. The dystopias are the ones with the endings we don't want to get to. The utopias are the ones with the endings that look lovely, but we can't see how to get there. And the thrutopias are the ones with endings that feel worth aiming for, and they show us how to move towards it. So a thrutopia is any narrative, and it doesn't have to be fictional, it can be non-fictional, that shows some of the way through from exactly where we are to a future that we would be proud to leave to the generations that come after us.
Thank you. Thank you, Manda. There's something here about the story shows us part of the way of how to get through. It's a story that starts from here and now, and it's about making it through towards a future worth aiming for. And so I'm thinking here, okay, we've had a lot of you say, I've had the experience of something didn't feel possible, that then I found myself doing it, that we know that turning points can happen. And I love this idea of the great turning as a larger story, really about making it through in the best way we can. And when Joanna and I we rewrote Active Hope, we revised it after it'd been about out 10 years, partly because things have become so much more dismal in so many ways. We wanted to acknowledge that we might not make it through in the way we'd hoped. When we first wrote it and it came out in 2012, we talked about if we can do this and this, we might be able to prevent a collapse occurring. And then when we rewrote it and then the revised edition came out in 2022, it was more of a sense of recognizing that there are ways in which collapse is already happening in a number of different ways, collapse of ecosystems, collapse of aspects of our climate system, a collapse of some of the kind of goodwill that has existed in society, that if you have a sense of, well, we're heading into collapse anyway, then there's something here about reframing the great turning, not so much as like, will we get there, which is focusing on outcome, but the great turning as involving turning up with an intention to play our part, turning away from things which we know contribute to the problem, turning towards that which we believe will help us make it through. And when I talked earlier about playing a pivotal role, I think the pivotal role is that we pivot. That we pivot, we say, what would it be like if I was to pivot the orientation of my life so that it became a Thrutopian story? It became a story about making it through in the very best possible way. And I can apply that story pattern to myself. What's going to help me make it through? I can apply it to my role supporting others. And I can also apply it to the larger stories that we belong to, the larger communities that we belong to. And I don't know what will happen, but I can be clear what I hope will happen.